All right, Salaki. I don't know why it keeps doing that. I might need to just delete this app and re-download it again because it's been doing this lately, constantly just cutting out, in the middle of my videos, and then I have to restart it. And then that causes extra work because now I have to go and make an edited video out of it, which takes up space on my phone until I upload it and so on and so forth. It just takes so much time, much more time and space or whatever. But I can't do anything about it. But like I was saying, on to article number 2 of, I believe there was only 3 that I wanted to grab for natural news. This is the second one. It says, in the past month, 9 recycling plants across the U.S. have burned down. What's going on? All right, it says, hold on, screen froze up. There we go. It says a total of 9 and counting recycling plants across the United States have been mysteriously set ablaze in just the past month as the government rails on and on about heat waves and the surge of fires that we are told is a result of global warming and climate change, which we all know that's a bunch of garbage right there, talking about global warming and climate change. It says the latest casualty occurred in Pensacola, Florida, where thick plumes of black smoke were seen bellowing from the destroyed facility. And we're most definitely going to watch that video below. All right, it says, what is this? Right now, multiple firefighters are currently working to control a massive fire at a recycling center in Pensacola, Florida. Multiple witnesses are reporting blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to click on show more because I know it's going to take me all the way over to Twitter, which I don't want to do. But we are going to play this video. As a matter of fact, give me a second because I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it with my my Bluetooth in. So let me take this out real quick, just in case. Okay, just check and make sure it's still recording. All right. So we'll play it now.
We're actually across the bayou, right there on Bayou Chico. That is too wild, man. Like, we got storms moving in. They finally got a boat putting some water on it, but it's going to take a while. This has been burning since like 8:21.
It didn't look like too much was going on there. I mean, something's going on, but you know what I mean. It wasn't showing too much. But hey, just going to continue on with the article. It says, note that there has not been one single month in at least the past 5 years where more than 1 or 2 incidents like this at a maximum occurred at recycling facilities. And it's nothing but trash, so trash is going to burn, all right? It says, and yet just in the past 30 days, and there could be all types of, grease, oil, or other flammable, not even properly, I'm pretty sure it's all those different types of flammable chemicals, as well as just the trash itself, which, could be easily set ablaze. And so that means it's going to burn, all right? It says, and yet just in the past 30 days, there have been 9 separate fire incidents, all at recycling centers. Here is a list of locations where recycling facilities caught fire just since the start of August. August 1st, the Vinton Steel Recycling Plant in Vinton, Texas. Have one in Jacksonville, Florida. You got another one in Mesa del Sol, near Albuquerque, New Mexico. It says caught fire and burned very hot very quickly due to large amounts of plastic on site. All right, we got another one in Oakland, Cali. We got another one in Brockton, Massachusetts. The Spring Branch Recycling Plant in Houston. And we have Glendale, Arizona. Boston Salvage Yard caught fire over Hyde Park. And then the aforementioned recycling plant in Pensacola, Florida. Right? I believe that was the one that was in the video. All right, so let's continue on. It says at this rate, more than 200 recycling centers will catch fire in the U.S. this year. It says it is a strange thing, to say the least, for one recycling plant after another to just randomly catch fire and burn down, all within days of each other, and all in sorts and all in all sorts of different locations across America. Arsonists going around setting recycling plants ablaze, just like what happens. So what appears to have happened all last year with the mysterious food factory fires. And I know they're not talking about the burning down the chicken factories and all that stuff. That was definitely planned, burning the chicken factories down. It says, and are climate cultists to blame for all this destruction, which furthers their narrative that global warming is causing America's infrastructure to burn. We are living in a world where very sick individuals have come together to create mass havoc and poison us one way or another. The International Banking Families. One distributed commenter wrote about this string of mysterious recycling center fires. Says if they can't poison us, then they will burn down cities and shut down farms and food processing facilities in order to starve us. Where this will end is anybody's guess, but the people of the world had better wake up and fight back before it is too late. And everyone keep talking about waking up and fighting back. You can fight back, but it's going to be to no avail, man, because you cannot fight against the ones that own everything, all right? The ones that have been given the fatness of the earth. You can't fight against this man with his blessing, right? And that's E. But we could care less about what these other nations do. You Israelites should have no part in these things. Your goal should be to seek the Lord and his mercy. That's it. It says another pointed out that just in 2023, there have been at least 31 different fires and explosions and at least 23 train derailments, and this in addition to the recent Maui and Canadian wildfires, which are also highly suspicious. All right, and we already know about Maui, but I'm not saying this is connected, but we most definitely know about Maui. In the past month, 9 recycling plants across the U.S. have burned down. What's going on? All right, I believe that was it. I thought I had one more. I believe that was it for natural news, but what happened there? All right, so okay. But I want to mention this while I'm looking at it. It says, beware, USDA allows genetically engineered, to infiltrate organic food production. All right. So look into that one if you want. Here's another one of the same RFK, what we just mentioned before. RFK Jr. 36. What the heck is going on? Okay. Because I'm not going to read through that. So I already know I'm going to get a strike going into that because some of the words that are used in there. This RFK Jr. 36,000 death scientists still developing killer bioweapons across America. There was another one, a couple more. Look at this. It says demonic. Radio station in Germany promotes pedophilia, sympathizes with how predators constantly fight their urges. And one more here, kind of dealing with the same, says Jeffrey Prather, U.S. deep state is deeply evil for setting up child brothels, sacrificing kids to Satan. All right. And I mean, these devil's world is what they're going to do until the Lord takes them out of the way. All right. So, what is this right here? Yeah, I think we went into that, read something on that yesterday. We're talking about the water, was shut off or whatever, why they were trying to fight the fires and so on and so forth. All right, but that's going to be it for natural news. What is going on? Let me get out of this site because everything's just going haywire. We may just continue on to our next list because I thought it might be a little longer, but we're on, barely 9 minutes. So we'll just pause here and we'll start to grab my next set of articles. All right, moving on to Blacklisted News. All right, we're probably going to be grabbing the rest of our articles right from here. I believe they were all here that I saw earlier. So we're going to start with this one. It says Thailand News Roundup. Department of Climate Change. Digital wallet revived as political populism. Pet sacrifices to occult deity statue. Moneypox still pushed. And grisly murders galore. All right, and that's a long title. The title was a paragraph, not really. Let's get down here, see what we have here. What is this? Okay. So continuing on, I don't know how long this article is. Looks pretty lengthy. We're not going to read it all. We're just going to see what we can grab from it. So let's just start from the top. Is this the top? It's gotta be. It says, citing recent remarks by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on global boiling, Mr. Varawat said the new department is essential to Thailand's efforts to address issues related to climate change. According to Mr. Gutierrez, global surface and ocean temperatures have reached historically high levels, which signals that global warming has ended and the global boiling era is here. Yeah, I think that was mentioned once before in an article that we read. I think one of the elders actually went into this, a little heavier. But anyways, it says the department is vital as Thailand now has a body that is directly responsible for tackling issues related to climate change, he said. This cannot be good. By royal decree, no less, from the top, I foresee Thailand's decision makers being as eager as the next deeply entrenched WEF-controlled country in dancing to the climate lockdown tune to a funky coinciditis, irregular heartbeat. It says it's a sad state of affairs when the UN insanity about global boiling is quoted seriously. Well, they want us to take it seriously. Want us to take it seriously. I just hope that all this is not a precursor to somewhere in Thailand getting the due treatment. What the heck is the due? It says, let me know in the comments if you encountered any NPCs quipping the old climate boiling. Some handy tips to counter them. The hottest decade was the 1930s. CO2 is a trace gas making up of 0.04% of 1% of our breathable atmosphere. Without CO2, all plants, animals, and humans would die. It is a life-giving gas. Let's go click on do real quick before we get too far down here. All right, directed energy weapons. Okay. U.S. patent, various iterations of DO applications, and screen captures of suspected DO aftermaths. All right, and that's what DO stands for, directed energy weapons. And it says this is a highly informative video breaking down numerous forms of DOs for use in the field, from crowd control to underwater versions and various methods of mounting the non-lethal weapons on motor vehicles and aerial vehicles. All right. Background of the DO invention, U.S. patent number 4959559, 1990. All right, we're not gonna read into this. Just continue. Yeah, we're not gonna read into this. You can go look into this yourself. All right, that directed energy weapon. This is from I guess it's called Creed Speech, but we just clicked over. Hopefully, we'll be able to jump back. Yeah, there you have it, though. All right, so back to the article. Get into another part because there's so much here in this article that they mention. All right, another portion of this article. We'll slide on down. It says digital wallet is hot or not if you're wide awake. It says, damn, I love the smell of CBDCs in the morning. I mean, cash, cold hard cash. Yeah, either way you're going off. All right. It says, I am a cash man. Most people are one government directorate away from getting a QR code tattooed right between their eyes, which I know they're just being, bluntly funny, but it's not really funny at all because this is a real agenda, all right, to implant everyone with a microchip, all right. Let's see what else it has here. It says the party showed the policy after finishing second in the May 14th election as the social welfare policies of the election-winning Move Forward Party were given priority when the latter was attempting to put together a coalition government. Now the situation has changed and Pheu Thai is now the core of a new coalition. Mr. Phauphom said on Friday, today, the party would like to officially declare that it will move ahead with the digital wallet policy using blockchain technology. The policy involves a 10,000 baht digital handout to every Thai age 16 and over, delivered to a smartphone. The digital money can only be spent within a 4-kilometer radius of recipients' homes. All right, that's the same idea they have for smart cities. It says and is valid for 6 months. All right, like I mentioned, with that government stimulus thing, there, whatever it is, that I forget what it's called, but they're trying to do, basically giving you free money, and it's renewed every month. Come on, man. Never trust thy enemy, man. For as iron rusted, so does wickedness, and he's going to declare his wickedness. All right, and then they just going to give whoever so-called qualifies free money every month, and it's just going to renew right on your card every single month. You don't think they have an ultimate agenda? And through the Spirit, I believe part of that agenda, not saying the whole thing, all in all, but part of that, I believe, is to have more people dependent on the government. So when the digital currency comes in, you have a choice, but you get what I'm saying. You have no choice but to take the microchip because you want that fun that you have been so hooked to. It's like a drug, okay? The way they feed you things is like a drug, a very addictive drug. And so they're going to get you addicted to having free money every month, get you lazy and stupid and dependent on them. And then when it comes time for the digital currency, they say, hey, we got a new policy coming. You're still going to get your funds every month. You're just going to have to switch everything digital. Oh, okay. Okay, can I get this information? Blah, blah, blah. You're just going to fall right into the trap. You're not even going to think twice about it. And you're just going to roll right with the agenda. And you're going to end up with digital currency and a microchip in your hand because you didn't listen to the Lord, to the prophets of the Lord that were telling you about these things. Lest Satan should get advantage of us because we're not ignorant of his devices. 2 Corinthians 2:11. It says, according to Chain Analysis, Thailand is number 12 out of 154 countries for global crypto adoption. Therefore, one would hope that Thais will prefer Bitcoin and decentralized cryptocurrencies over centralized CBDCs, but I won't hold my breath. All right, so, we're going to just go and jump on down, see what else is here. Look at this wicked thing here. Occult deity, Crew Kai Ko. It sounds like a damn Street Fighter move. Anyways, it says, I found this one bizarre and disturbing in equal measure. Is it a random local initiative? Is it something more sinister and satanic, quietly pushed by the global parasite class and their love for all things demonic? All right, so let's see what we got here. Look, they got the damn red fingernails, gold fangs, got a red gem in his head. Nigga ain't ate in a month because his ribs showing. Got wings on his back. Foolishness, man. Now let's see what this ridiculousness is talking about. Trying to get my screen to a decent size here. It says, this is such a weird story, first off. It says the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, the BMA, is allowing a controversial sculpture of the deity Crew Kai Ko, whatever, who cares? It says to remain on the premises of the Bazaar Hotel on Ratchet Road for the time being, despite a barrage of complaints. Bangkok Governor Chachart Sitipun said he ordered the BMA's permanent secretary to confirm whether or not the statue contravenes any laws or regulations. No violation has been found thus far, he said. So, hey, let it be, man. You got white Jesus, you got Allah Buddha Krishna. Well, you got robot Buddha now. Well, you might as well have your thing, man. You got Baal, all the old so-called gods, right? The owl, and so on and so forth, man. It doesn't stop, man. You let the people have it. As the sculpture is clearly visible from Ratchet Road, its scary-looking appearance might frighten passersby and commuters. We understand that the sculpture makes some people feel uncomfortable. We will try our best to find a solution, he said. It is amazing that this was permitted to be built and placed in such a highly visible area in the first place, albeit on private property. People commenting on the article said, I've been around this area and get a weird feeling. It is a dark place. And this is private property, they said. All right, anyways. Excuse me. It says, I like to think that my negative energy levels are low to none with all the meditation I've been doing lately. So I will find my way over there to see this abomination with my own eyes and hopefully not be adversely affected. A few days later, another follow-up piece popped up, literally warning the public not to make pet sacrifices to the deity. using pets as sacrifices for KKK, a deity represented by a gargoyle-like sculpture at a shrine in Bangkok will make people liable to prosecution, the watchdog Thailand Foundation WDT has warned. The warning came on the back of growing concerns from pet lovers aghast at the news of worshippers obtaining cats, dogs, and rabbits and using them as sacrificial animals. In a Facebook post, the foundation said believers must think twice before they consider harming pets and using them as sacrifices to the half-human, half-mythical bird sculpture installed at the Ganesha shrine near Wai Kwang intersection. Although it is not against the law to worship a statue, the animal sacrifice craze shows how insecure many Thai people have become in their desperate search for spiritual support, he said. And that's spirit, because I just thought about, which is, dealing with Babylon, America, but where it says Baal stupid, Nebo stupid low, something like that. Basically, what I'm talking about, in the books of Jeremiah, where it talks about all these, false gods and idols being confounded, in front of the eyes of the people. So yeah, let these people have it. Let them have at it. All right, build up all your. You can build a 60-foot Lego man with no shirt on. The Lord gonna knock his ass down too when time comes. So let these people have it. Go and build up. Go and worship what you want. Especially here in America, Babylon the Great, you can worship whatever you want, as long as you're staying in line with their laws, their rules, their legislation, their agendas, so on and so forth. They don't care. All right. As long as you're listening to them, they don't care what you say you worship. All right. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, what these devils, these international banking families are trying to do is roll out the plan that you eventually worship them as God. All right. So let's slide on down here. Was that the end? Flogging a dead monkey. Okay. Talk about the monkeypox, multiple murders. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. It's basically random articles within a singular article. All right, so I'll go and get that headline for you again. Thailand News Roundup. Oh, and that's why, because I'm guessing it was all Thailand news. But it says Department of Climate Change. We went through that. Digital wallet revives political populism. I think we went through that. Pet sacrifices to the cult deity statue. That's what we just talked about. And Ratchet Road. Well, it's not really called Ratchet. I just, whatever that word. Ratchet. Moneypox still pushed. Not sure we read that. And Grizzly Murders Galore, which I believe those were the ones we just skipped over. But it's okay, because it's not very important. So we're going to move on so we can go and start grabbing our other articles here. All right, DARPA biochip being rolled out under that stuff can control human DNA. DARPA biochip being rolled out under the 5-letter C word can control human DNA. All right, source Robert Willer, the organic prepper. It says, while half of the American voting public is no doubt waiting in earnest for the announcement of a release of the 5-letter C word, and as totalitarian states and governments the world over attempt to require proof of negative tests before travel, a new tool in the shade of government surveillance and control is revealing itself. In fact, while many were attacking anyone warning of the coming microchip, as a conspiracy theorist, Luddite or religious fanatic, that microchip has arrived. I mean, it's been here. It's just rolling out, on a bigger scale, little by little, through its perfection over time. It's rolling out on a bigger scale. All right, because they want to get the most perfect one that they're looking for. All right. It says, but governments aren't having to market the chip as a method to track, trace, and control their populations. Instead, they are marketing the chip as a way to track and detect the 5-letter C word and other coronaviruses, all right? Which is all, distraction, lies, or whatever the case, may be. However you want to pull it, man. They're fooling you, all right? It's the best way to pull it in the most plain way, all right? They're fooling you. But anyway, it says, clearly this is a much easier sell to a public literally terrorized by their governments and mainstream media outlets for the last 6 months. Raul Diego details the creation and coming rollout of the new biochip in this article. A DARPA-funded implantable microchip to detect C19 could hit markets by 2021. Let's punch it. And this is it right here. And he's holding one right in his hand, as you see. All right. So it's pretty much going into, I guess, the article that he, what is this? Hidden Web Military Industrial Complex. I'm trying to see what this video is about before I just go and play it, because I don't want to just unnecessary video or whatever. Your video project doesn't sound like what this article is about. I'm not sure. I mean, if you're interested, you can come in, poke it to it yourself. We're going to go back for now, so we can just go and run through this article. It says the most significant scientific discovery since gravity has been hiding in plain sight for nearly a decade, and its destructive potential to humanity is so enormous that the biggest war machine on the planet immediately deployed its vast resources to possess and control it, financing its research and development through agencies like the National Institutes of Health, NIH, the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, and the HHS, BARDA. All right, it says the revolutionary breakthrough came to a Canadian scientist named Derek Rossi in 2010, purely by incident. The now retired Harvard professor claimed in an interview with the National Post that he found a way to reprogram the molecules that carry the genetic instructions for cell development in the human body, not to mention all biological life forms. That is them. If that's not them trying to play God, then what is? What is? It says these molecules are called messenger ribonucleic acid, all right, or mRNA. And you know what? I may have to move on from this, because I want to catch you. Like I said, I used code words last time, all right, but lo and behold, they struck me out anyways. It says that the newfound ability to rewrite those instructions to produce any kind of cell within a biological organism has radically changed the course of Western medicine and science, if no one has really noticed yet. As Rossi himself puts it, the real important discovery here, as you can now use, and if you got it into the cells, then you could get the blank to express any protein in the cells, and this was the big thing. Yeah, we're definitely gonna you definitely have to read into this one yourself, because we're just gonna try to play it safe here. Is this part of the why discussing through the matrix.com, discuss the biochip and much more in a historical and analytical context here. We can get a few seconds of it, because I'm pretty sure it's probably long. We'll see.
Hi folks, I'm Alan Watt, and this is Cutting Through the Matrix on the 20th of September.
Like this though. You gonna have to get to it.
They're merchant lenders, you know. And so even then, you can see the influence of who made Aristotle. Aristotle became very, very famous after he got married, and went down into history that way. Nothing has changed. Money creates those that we end up reading about. Except for the bad guys. The bad guys are always the losers. It doesn't matter where across the world you look at losers, they're always put in their books as the bad guys, and you get the bad guy versions of it. And even in kingdoms, as they called it, like Britain or the UK, I mean, you had Wales, and at one time
I
Wales...
don't really know what he's talking about. We're just going to move on. I forgot to get that headline for you again. There it is. DARPA biochip being rolled out under 5-letter C word, can control human DNA. All right. I guess if you're interested, I urge you to read into that article. But for now, we're going to move on to our next one. All right, here's one about some censorship. It says Australia's misinfo bill paves way for Soviet-style censorship. The Australian government's proposed new laws to crack down on misinformation and disinformation have drawn intense criticism for their potential to restrict free expression and political dissent, paving the way for a digital censorship regime reminiscent of Soviet Lysenkoism. All right, Lysenkoism. It says under the draft legislation, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, ACMA, will gain considerable expanded regulatory powers to combat misinformation and disinformation, which ACMA says poses a threat to the safety and well-being of Australians, as well as to our democracy, society, and economy. And I mean, if you notice, like, you see the pattern, it's the same type of thing that's rolling out in all all over the world. All right, digital currency here, digital currency there. All right, scanning people's eyes here, scanning people's eyes there. Misinformation here, misinformation there. All right, so on and so forth. It's the same thing. All right, everyone has in their own version of reaching the same goals. And why is that? Because everything stems back to one set of people, the international banking families. All right. It says digital platforms will be required to share information with ACMA on demand and to implement stronger systems and processes for handling of misinformation and disinformation. ACMA will be empowered to devise and enforce digital codes with a graduated set of tools, including infringement notices, remedial directions, injunctions, and civil penalties, with fines of up to $55,000 individuals in 2.75 million corporations. Criminal penalties, including imprisonment, may apply in extreme cases. Controversially, the government will be exempt from the proposed laws, as will professional news outlets, meaning that ACMA will not compel platforms to police misinformation and disinformation disseminated by official government or news sources. All right. So it's not really much more we have to read through there. So it's pretty much all in the same thing, same, pretty lengthy article, just dealing with misinformation. And then this one, I guess, is this time is trying to hit Australia, which I'm not saying it just started happening or whatever. Like I just said, I mean, all the one same agenda is happening all over, just in their own different types of way. All right, because the globalist elite, all right, they have their plans, right, and they're gonna roll it out all over this earth. All right, whoever's gonna get in line is gonna get in line, and who's not, they're gonna step on it. All right, so let's go to our next article. All right, the Snakes Foundation. All right, Gates Foundation pushes national digital ID tech. All right, Gates Foundation pushes national digital ID tech. All right, here's a face to. Let me hold my tongue. It says, if you're tired of, we start here. It says, the digital era, with its myriad of innovations, has ushered in a wave of conveniences, but at what cost? The recent advocacy by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the modular open source identification platform, the MOSIP, will now be under scrutiny by privacy advocates questioning the broader implications of such a global digital identification system. The Seattle-based Gates Foundation, guided by the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, has actively endorsed MOSIP's undertakings with a sizable $10 million pledge. Big old number there. It says the foundation's aim seems to focus on propelling a universal digital identification framework, especially targeting low to middle income economies. All right, you hear that? It says the foundation's aim seems to focus on propelling a universal digital ID framework. All right, basically laying down that groundwork. And then what do they say after that? Attacking who? Especially targeting low to middle income economies. But as history has shown, with such advancements often come potential pitfalls, particularly regarding personal privacy. All right, yeah, that is the big thing. Let's see what it says here. It says 850 million people lack ID that proves their identity. As a result, they're shut out of a lot of services that could change. You see, you got to watch their words, man. Listen, 850 million people lack ID that proves their identity. Why do you care so much? That's the first question that should have popped up in your mind. Why the hell do these people care so much? But then they move on to say, what else? It says they're shut out of a lot of services that could change their lives. If they don't have identification, and obviously they're getting along just fine and dandy with their lives as it is. The problem is your guys are moving the goalposts and you're changing the name of the game. So eventually you're trying to push people to that digital lifestyle. And so you're saying, well, we want these people too. We don't care if they don't have ID now. We're going to make them get one, or they're going to starve. We're going to lock them right out of society. All right. It says, that's why I'm so excited about MOSIP, on an open source technology that could dismantle barriers worldwide. And who is writing this? Okay, this is Billy Snakes himself. And so it says, digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty, an effective tool against poverty, an effective tool against poverty. I say it over and over and over. All right. Watch these people and their words. OK, digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty. A global solution is making and it cuts off right here. It says the team behind the open source. Yeah. And so we're not on It looks like Twitter, I guess, is the source maybe. But anyways, digital IDs are an effective tool against poverty. How is that? Hey, you need food? We got you. First, let's get you set up like this. First, let's get you to do this. Let's get you to take our microchip. Let's get you into our digital world so everything flows freely and smoothly for you. It'll be convenient for you. You see these devils, man? The MOSIP initiative, although modeled after India's controversial state digital ID system initiated in 2009, prompts a plethora of concerns. While Aadhaar spurred globalist interest, the unique challenges faced by different countries meant that many had to grapple with potentially expensive and less transparent commercial systems, resulting in vendor lock-in and potential misuse of user data. It says MOSIP, since its inception in 2018, presents itself as a remedy to these challenges, promoting its accessibility and adaptability to different nations. While the Philippines led in its adoption, 11 countries, predominantly from Africa, have followed suit. However, with 90 million digital IDs already distributed across the Philippines, Ethiopia, and Morocco, the magnitude of data collection and the potential risks associated with breaches or misuse became alarmingly evident, and the devil smiles. Adapting MOSIP to each nation's unique requirements means collecting and customizing vast amounts of personal data. Collecting and customizing vast amounts of personal data. Collecting and customizing vast amounts of personal data is the only way for MOSIP and each nation to have its unique requirements met. It says the system, despite its boast of an 80-plus vendor ecosystem, raises red flags, like the flag I just threw at them, right? Listen to their words, okay? It says the higher the number of vendors, the greater the potential access points for data breaches. Although MOSIP offers complimentary training, product showcases, and a certification process, the complexities of managing multiple vendors across various countries can jeopardize the sanctity of personal data. MOSIP's ambitious plan to register 1 billion individuals in the coming decade only intensifies the concerns. While the Snakes Foundation views digital ID systems as integral to fostering digital public infrastructure, I just talked about it, right? Laying that groundwork, all right, DPI, that can, in theory, stimulate economic growth, the risks to personal privacy cannot be ignored. Though DPI promises, and that's where everybody is crying. It's so funny because, yes, a lot of people cry about the privacy thing, but they're never crying about the actual, device or whatever it is. That shows that these people are still halfway with the plan. They just don't like that the privacy is going to be taken from them. But either way, everyone's gonna have to face the same hard choice. All right. It says though DPI promises to streamline transactions for individuals and governments, its adoption without robust privacy safeguards can lead to potential misuse, surveillance, and unwarranted data access. Personal data has become as valuable as gold, and the push for such extensive digital ID systems with such global intentions needs to be critically examined. Privacy remains a fundamental right, and any compromise on it, however advanced or innovative the reason, deserves rigorous scrutiny. Digital ID in general undermines privacy. All right, there you have it. The Snakes Foundation pushes national digital ID tech. And that's that guy right there, Bill Gates, Billy Snakes himself. On to the next article. All right, have you yet noticed the chain of articles, like with the general, article here? But hey, it says Cuba removing cash from economy. All right. So when Cuba in early August announced it was taking a major step towards electronic banking and a cashless society, the offices of fledgling small businesses across the communist-run country were left scrambling to figure out how to respond. Most alarming to many budding entrepreneurs was a new 5,000 peso, which $20 American, daily cap on cash withdrawals for businesses, right? It says a 5,000 peso daily cap on cash withdrawals for businesses, or $20 USD. It says one of several measures the government said were aimed at forcing Cubans to do their transactions electronically via transfer, online payment, and bank cards. Like Cuban officials have said, The new banking measures are necessary for transparency to ensure transactions are recorded and taxes are paid. Yeah. So they say, and I thought it was gonna be more in this article, but that was it for that. All right. You see what it says? They're removing cash from the economy. All right, on to the next one. I'm not gonna read into this one. But I'll just mention it. It says how NewsGuard profits from censoring independent media for the elites. I guess we'll grab that paragraph here, but you can look into the article yourself. It says running an independent media outlet is tough, and there's a company called NewsGuard that's making it even harder. NewsGuard claims to rate online content, including from media outlets, to see how trustworthy it is. But if we take a closer look, it's doing more than that. It's putting pressure on news organizations. NewsGuard started in 2018. It sends out analysts to review online content creators and give them ratings. The ratings appear as small badges with scores next to search results. All right, we're going to go and grab this last article here. And we'll be shutting it down after that, but it's going to be this one. All right, the UN is building a digital army to fight what it calls deadly disinformation. Deadly disinformation. Ooh, okay. It says the UN is tripling down on its role as an important global player in the fight against online misinformation. All right, you notice, because they've been talking about misinformation, so-called misinformation. Really, what it is, the truth is coming out. They've been talking about misinformation, but if you noticed, it's been very heavily pushed towards online lately. Excuse me. All right, it says that fight against online misinformation and also we went into an article talking about how Google being one of those players in the game too, having information filtered through their system. All right, they're going to give you a review of such and such article. Like, get out of here. I'd rather read it myself and come to my own conclusion than let you devils tell me what's in it, tell me what is or isn't, you know what I'm saying, tell you what's up and down. All right, but that's all part of controlling the narrative. All right, it says an amplification of the narrative narrative right there of a supposedly serious threat this allegedly new phenomenon brings to humankind. Thus, UN peacekeepers are adding another task to the duties the member states fund when they approve their missions meant to help people in countries devastated by war and other disasters. They are now also building a digital army. And according to a write-up on the UN website, misinformation is viewed by the World Organization in exceedingly alarmist terms as deadly and posing existential risk to such core building blocks of modern societies as democratic institutions and fundamental human rights. Basically, what they said there is wah, 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 wah. Bunch of nothing, all right? Bunch of fancy words to say that we're just going to lie to you people to get you to believe what we're saying, so hopefully you'll side with us. Anyways, it says they really do make that connection verbatim, and they now use the term war and battlefield to describe misinformation and other goings on in the media too. Yeah, because they want to make it seem that pulls off their term that they're trying to use, deadly, right? An existential risk, right? And when they word it that way, it makes people raise eyebrows and avert their attention to it, all right? It says, we've heard this before, of course, from the Biden administration regarding the 5-letter C word, but the identical wording may or may not be a coincidence. In order to justify as much as it can, this considerable shift in policy and focus from UN's traditional operations and purpose, the UN article doesn't talk only about things like undermining epidemics, containing efforts, protecting scientific truths and facts, and as recent experience has shown, facts as well, and the like. All right, it says to prop up the argument, it is claimed that the peacekeeping work itself and the safety and lives of peacekeepers are also falling victim to large-scale misinformation. The UN solutions effectively testing proactive approaches to the problem they define, and doing this in a number of war-torn African countries. It says leading the charge seems to be the UN mission in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, known as MONUSCO, a French language acronym. Then there's something called the UN Verified Initiative, which offers a course free of charge that is supposed to educate people in these physically dangerous places on how to keep themselves safe from online misinformation. You see how they're making it seem like it's the mass murderer, like Michael Myers is coming to get you, but it's all a play on words, and part of that is striking fear in people. Like, oh, I can get told this, whatever the case may be. I mean, people are simple; they'll believe any word. All right. I think the scriptures even talk about the simple believeth every word, right? But this is what they're banking on, for the simple to believe every word, and the key thing is the words that are given them from these devils. All right, from these liars. They're saying that the truth is misinformation, and that the bullcrap that they're spewing against the Lord is what the truth is. All right. It says this effort expands on several basic topics, including how to recognize disinformation, and the UN will also tell you why it is being spread. All right. And eventually they're probably going to have a say something, see something kind of thing going on. It says another one is to be able to discern emotional, dramatic, and provocative content. Some might say the article from the UN site referenced here might easily qualify. And there's another post here. It says the UN is building a digital. Oh, that's the same thing. Why is it here then? Yeah, that's the same thing. So yeah, that was it for that. The last article says the UN is building a digital army to fight what it calls deadly disinformation. All right, so they've stepped it up again, a notch. All right, to all you sincere beloved men of the Lord out there throughout the four winds of the earth. All right, they're trying to step up a game on us, right? Calling it deadly now. It's no longer just disinformation, misinformation, and freedom of speech and free thinkers and so on and so forth. Now it's deadly. All right, they're using the word deadly now. All right, so we just got to keep our eyes open, because we don't fear these devils. We don't fear what they talk about. We fear the Lord. All right, Matthew 10:28. Fear not him that can kill the body and not the soul, but fear him that can kill the body and soul in hell. And that is our Father, Abba, the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. All right, so all honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachakadash. Lord, will you edify to next time Yashwala? I'm going to say Shalom.